Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back. You watching for Tech. These are my two devices, OnePlus 13R and Samsung Galaxy S26. Both of them run two of the most popular Android operating systems. Samsung has One UI while OnePlus has OxygenOS, which may be soon replaced by ColorOS. I am quite familiar with OxygenOS, but over the last few days I have been thoroughly testing One UI 9 on Galaxy S26 and comparing it with OxygenOS to see which one is a better overall operating system in terms of features, performance, and software experience. Today we are going to compare Samsung's Navbar with OxygenOS 16 Live Space. By the end of this video, I will tell you which feature I think is more useful and better designed. This video is not a debate between Samsung and OnePlus fans. Instead, it meant to help you understand what's missing in your favorite operating system. So make sure to watch it till the end. Now without further delay, let's get started. Samsung was actually pioneer of lock screen navbar feature with One UI 7, and now it offers one of the most advanced implementations. OxygenOS introduced a similar feature called as Live Space in latest July 2026 OxygenOS 16.1 update. In One UI, the navbar has dedicated setting page under lock screen and AOD setting. It includes separate toggle to enable or disable navbar notifications for supported applications. On the other hand, OxygenOS currently doesn't provide any dedicated setting for live space. OnePlus should definitely add a dedicated live space setting page in future updates. However, the core functionality of OnePlus Live Space is almost same as Samsung's navbar. It displays the live notifications for ongoing activities and lets you interact with them directly from the lock screen, just like Samsung does. Samsung Navbar has different design and animation style compared to OnePlus Live Space. To switch between Navbar notification, you simply swipe up. The animation feels smoother and bouncier, and overall design has a premium glass-like appearance. OnePlus Live Space, on the other hand, has more frosted glass look. You can switch between notifications by swiping horizontally, although it doesn't have fancy transition animations. But whenever the new notification arrives, it shows the beautiful glowing edge animation. Personally, I think OnePlus should also adapt the Samsung pure glass-like design for Live Space in future updates. Next, Samsung Navbar supports the interactive control for certain notifications like alarms and timers. You can pause or dismiss them directly from the navbar, although the control panel itself is quite small. On the other hand, OnePlus offers the full screen control panel for clock notifications with much smoother opening and closing animations. In my opinion, Samsung should introduce the larger control panel like this in future One UI updates. Samsung already provided the full screen control panel for media playback. You can play, pause, skip to next track or go back to the previous one. However, to close this panel, you need to use back gesture. On the other hand, OnePlus Live Space offers all the same media controls. But to minimize the panel, you need to simply tap on the music card instead of swiping back. Samsung should definitely adopt this for more convenient user experience. Samsung Navbar also offers the interactive control for activities like flashlight, but it only lets you to turn the flashlight off. In contrast, OnePlus keeps the flashlight control active for a few minutes, allowing you to turn it on or off directly from the live space. This is another feature Samsung should consider to add in the One UI. Both operating systems also provide the ongoing call control through the navbar and live space. When you are on the call and turn off the screen, you can mute the microphone, enable speaker mode, or can end the call directly from the lock screen. However, OnePlus requires you to tap the call banner to expand the control, while Samsung opens the full screen call interface with the single tap. Personally, I think Samsung approach is more convenient. Similarly, both operating systems let you control the sound recording directly from the lock screen through the navbar and live space. However, it will be even better if both Samsung and OnePlus introduces a dedicated full screen control panel for this feature. Google Maps navigation also works perfectly on the both platforms. Live directions are displayed on the lock screen, making navigation very convenient. Apart from the navigation, both Samsung Navbar and OnePlus Live Space can also display live scores for ongoing football and cricket matches. Samsung Navbar is much more advanced because it supports many more applications including audio broadcast, emergency sharing, Google Finance, etc. But some of these features weren't working properly. I will show you that later in this video. One feature I really like in Samsung Navbar is Now Brief. If you enable it, you will receive the personalized daily summary directly through Navbar. It shows you daily health information, weather, calendar events, news based on your interest, and even lets you to start your favorite playlist. Everything can be accessed directly from the lock screen. OnePlus currently lacks this feature, and I believe it should definitely introduce something similar in the future for OxygenOS updates. Samsung Navbar also displays the Samsung Health activities. Although OnePlus supports the Google Health, but it only shows you the normal notification without any interactive control. Samsung Health activities directly appears inside the navbar with the interactive control, making the experience much better. This is another feature OnePlus should consider adding. Samsung navbar also displays the charging information, but only once when you connect the charger. Personally, I think it should continuously show the charging percentage whenever you wake up the screen. OnePlus LifeSpace doesn't support this feature yet. Instead, Oxygen only displays the charging animation when you connect the charger to phone. Although Samsung support many different applications, I noticed that some features weren't working, including the perfect city notification, audio broadcast, emergency sharing, voice interpreter, and smart things. I tested all of these applications, but none of their notifications appeared in the navbar, even after enabling all required settings. In the Samsung, all notifications appear separately on the lock screen. You can expand them by tapping on the notification icon or by swiping down. But on the OnePlus, supported notifications appears inside the live space. You can expand them with the single tap and can minimize them by swiping down. This keeps the lock screen much cleaner. I think Samsung should also adopt this cleaner notification style for navbar. So after comparing the Samsung navbar with the OnePlus Live Space, here are my thoughts. There is no doubt that Samsung pioneered the lock screen live notifications with the interactive control without unlocking the device. Samsung navbar is very polished feature, but there are still several improvements Samsung should make. On the other hand, OnePlus Live Space is still it's in early stages of the development. Even so, it already offers some better animations and full screen control for certain applications. If OnePlus adopts some of the Samsung advanced features, I think Live Space could easily become the better implementation. I hope this comparison helped you to understand Samsung Navbar and OnePlus Live Space, including their features, strength, weaknesses, and improvement both companies should make. That's all for today, guys. Hope you liked our work. Then please do like, hype, and share this video. Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Take care. Bye bye.